Well, hello, everyone. My name is Suzanne Rupp. I'm the Executive Director of Pi Gamma Mu International Honor Society in Social Sciences. And welcome to today's Convention 101 program, where we will be telling you all about the upcoming Pi Gamma Mu Centennial International Convention. Um, Before I hand this event off to our speakers, I would like to make the introductions of them. Today, our speakers will include Dr. Kathy M. of the University of Maryland Global Campus. She is the president of the Board of Trustees of Pi Gamma Mu. We also have today Professor Allison G.S. Knox of American Military University and American Public University, who is a regional chancellor of the Southeastern region on our Board of Trustees. We also have Dr. Charles Hartwig, who is Professor Emeritus at Arkansas State University and Regional Chancellor of the Southwestern region on our Board of Trustees. And finally, Dr. Jennifer McNabb of the University of Northern Iowa, a Regional Chancellor of the Northeastern region on our Board of Trustees. And I will go ahead and share our first slide and hand it off to our board president, Dr. Kathy M.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you here. It's wonderful to have this many participants this early on. We are really excited about our upcoming convention, and it's really close, much closer than I think any of us realized until we looked at the calendar. What we are going to do today is give you a sort of a high overview of the convention. There are many more specifics that you can find on our website. And Suzanne, I think if you go maybe 2 more slides, you'll see the URL for the website. Here we go. So it's a little long, but if you go to our website, you'll see links to our convention website, which has a lot of details about the things that we'll be talking about today. And hopefully all of you know our website, pigammamu.org. And through that through that website, you will be able to link to the separate convention website, which will have many, many more details. Let's go to the next slide. So when is our convention? It is coming up, as I said, very quickly, November 1st through 3rd in the great city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Our hotel and our convention will be held at the DoubleTree Hotel, Philadelphia Center City, and it's a couple blocks away from the famous City Hall. It is very centrally located. It's a fantastic location. There's many places that we can walk to, and we will walk to if you're able to. And who is coming to this convention? It's going to be hopefully everybody on this call, including Pi Gamma Mu students, faculty, and alumni. And of course, the entire board will be there as well. We're excited to meet you all. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so just some information about where we will be. Philadelphia is not a cheap city, unfortunately, but we thought it was important to go to a socially significant city. And so we chose Philadelphia. The registration cost this year will be $200 for the convention. That will cover all 3 days. We'll talk a little bit more about the Leadership Development Program, which is an add-on, and there is limited space, but Allison Knox will talk about that very soon. As I said, we are staying in the DoubleTree Philadelphia Center City Hotel. There is a block of rooms available, but you must book by September 30th. So if you are planning to come and stay in the convention hotel, please keep that date in mind. We have been guaranteed that the room rate will be no more than $204 a night. That is pretty reasonable for where we are staying. But please take advantage of that. The rooms do have 2 queen-size beds, I believe. And so if students or whoever want to come and, do some room sharing, there's an opportunity to do that. And we think that's probably a really good idea for some of our students. Let's go to the next slide. So some of the convention highlights, the big thing about our convention is that we really celebrate student research The highlight of our convention is student presentations on their research papers as well as their posters, and you'll hear more about those in a moment. We also feature chapter posters and information about the histories of different chapters. We have our big Centennial Awards banquet, which is another highlight. During that banquet, we feature our Distinguished Alumni Award. We have a keynote. We also will be electing our student trustees for the next 3 years at our convention. This year, we are doing a few new things. So we are really excited that we have a new book that is in the process of being published. We hope to have it at the convention. It is entitled With Distinction, and it is a story about the first 100 years of Pi Gamma Mu. So we will hopefully have that on site for people to purchase and review. The main author of the book will be there, as well as the team that assembled all the information for the book, many of whom are on this call. We are also going to be launching a social justice or a call to action project. This is going to be really exciting. It's an interdisciplinary, student-led project that we are going to launch at the convention and continue hopefully throughout the year. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Again, the Leadership Development Program, I think this is the 3rd time that the program has been held at the convention, and we'll come back to that in a moment when Allison talks about that. Another thing is we will be exploring Philadelphia with a social science emphasis. There was so much historically and socially that's happened in Philadelphia. We're going to take full advantage of that during our time there. And of course, it is a fantastic opportunity to network with other social scientists, students, faculty, alumni. We're hoping that there will be mentorship opportunities there, but also we just hope to have a lot of fun while we're there. Next. So I mentioned our distinguished alumni and our awards ceremony. Our keynote speakers this year are Dr. Emily Welty and Dr. Matthew Bolton, both of Pace University. And these folks are significant not only because they're members of our society, but because their efforts to seek peace and disarmament globally were recognized. They were part of a team that won the Nobel Peace Prize. So we're really excited to have them visit us and speak to us at our convention. And then we also, in the next slide, our other distinguished alumnus is the late President Lyndon B. Johnson, a member of Pi Gamma Mu. We have decided this year to honor him. And so a representative from his foundation will be providing us with a few words, and we're really excited to see that as well. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Charles Hartwig to talk about how you go about submitting papers to the convention. Dr. Hartwig?
Hello, scholars. My name is Charles Hartwig. In addition to the introduction of my various roles, I'm also the chair of the Student Research Panel, a selection committee. We call it the Committee of Readers. It's a 3-person panel. I am the non-voting member of that committee. I just do the paperwork, getting the papers out to the committee. Why submit a paper to a convention? Well, you professors know very well the importance of publications and papers. Students may not recognize this, but these are really important when you go to graduate school or looking for a job. So this is something, and an international social science convention is important. The process, let me review briefly the process of submitting research papers. One significant thing is recently we've changed the deadline, moved them back a bit, give people more time to submit their papers. So specifically, you can now submit a research paper in social science. Again, Pi Gamma Mu defines social science pretty broadly, so a number of interdisciplinary areas. But anyway, the research paper deadline is October 15th, Tuesday, October 15th. However, we have a special this year, something a little bit different. we have a top 10 submission deadline of October 1st, Tuesday, October 1st. If you submitters wish to get possible recognition as a top 10 paper, your deadline is October 1st. This is to give the selection committee a little bit more time so they don't have to try to scramble at the very, very last minute to try to figure out the top 10 submitters. What does a top 10 submitter mean? The top 10 papers, or the authors of those papers, will not only get a recognition at the banquet, they'll be named at the banquet on Saturday. They will also get $200. And they will also have the chance to submit their paper, and they may want to modify it slightly, but anyway, they get the chance to submit their paper to the International Social Science Review. This is our peer-reviewed journal, and the top 10 papers, if they opt to submit these papers to the journal, they will have the benefit of having gone through the first of 2 reviewers. Ordinarily, submitters have to go through 2 reviewers, but the process of our selection committee, the journal editor will consider these as the first reviewer. So if they get the top 10 papers, and by the way, in the past several years, almost all of the top 10 papers have ended up being published in the International Social Science Review. There are submission requires, as you see on the screen, 12 to 15 pages, have to be submitted in Word format, Word processing. We have some guidelines for AI, artificial intelligence, using the Chicago Guide for AI. It's not forbidden, but they're very careful guidelines as to how to use this. And it's open to any member of Pi Gamma Mu, which means current students, undergraduate or graduate, and alumni members. So it's wide open in terms of eligibility to submit. What kind of paper? It could be an old paper, a paper you, for example, as a student, maybe perhaps a first-year graduate student. Maybe your final paper as undergraduate was really good. You can get this paper, if social science. So make a slight modification, follow the rules about a cover page, and send this in. So, excuse me. You can also have a new paper, especially since we moved the deadline back a little bit. You might be able to get this done this semester. So either previously non-submitted elsewhere, of course, previously completed papers or new papers, as long as you meet the deadline and the general requirements, bibliography and all that stuff, those will be fine. The presentation then for the accepted submission, as the screen shows, we're trying to ask for a 15-minute presentation with another 5 minutes of questions and answers. You can use slideshows. We have some guidelines on this. Please use the PowerPoint if at all possible. But more details on this we'll get to the people once they get their news about the submission. The process is I get the papers, I take off the cover page and any identifying names or institutions, send it to our 3-person committee. They get their vote back in. I took the average of their votes and then let the author of the paper know what's happened. We've had some slight deadlines, delays in getting the responses back, but we're working on this. We're trying to get this in 2 weeks, if at all possible, after the paper is submitted. And that's about the main things I have. So I'll pass on the chair, not the chair, but the picture to our poster presenter head. That's Dr. Jen.
Thanks for bearing with me, everyone. I'm trying to set up Dr. McNabb on the screen. One moment. There we go.
All right, everyone. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Jen McNabb. I am a professor and department head of history at the University of Northern Iowa. and I have the distinction of supervising this year's poster submissions for our Centennial Convention. So, as has been stressed by some other presenters, the great place to go for information is our website, but I just want to walk through some of the basic information for you. Suzanne, if you will advance the slide. And then back one up. There we go. Okay. The first point of note is to stress that the information in some recent newsletters concerning the deadline is now changed and updated. We are expanding our submission window gently to accept submissions for posters through October 15th. So, an academic poster. As I mentioned, am an historian, and we tend to present our research in papers. But for a number of you in other social sciences fields, you may well be used to presenting your information, original research, or summative reports in a manner that requires data visualization. And so that is an excellent circumstance for using the poster means of disseminating information. Our poster sessions take, we will have a specific poster session at the convention, but there are a number of different kinds of posters that are accepted for presentation. Probably the most traditional is the student poster, undergraduate, graduate, and even PGM alum as well, who are presenting research. And I will spend the majority of my time talking about those types of posters, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that we also accept chapter poster presentations and also our history presentations. Since this is our 100th anniversary, you are warmly invited to work with fellow members of your chapter to display your chapter's history and have that presented at the conference. Poster presentations can demonstrate completed work. So if you have completed a research project and are ready to reveal its findings, the poster is a great means of doing so. It can also reveal in progress research. So if you have a great project that you've been working on with a faculty mentor or that you are working on this semester in class, in progress posters are also welcome in our session. Presenters can be single, or you can have multiple presenters on a poster. Just as was mentioned earlier with papers, everyone who submits must be a member of Pi Gamma Mu by the time of our convention. We got some great questions this summer asking about that, and it threw us back into our institutional documents, and we realized, yes, indeed, every member presenting a poster must be an initiated member of PGM. Submission requirements are actually quite light for poster presentations. We need a poster title. We need the names of all presenters and their institutional affiliation. That's the place you go to school, and the name of your faculty mentor, and then a brief abstract, 150 words maximum, about the project and its findings. Those submissions are emailed directly to me, and you can find my contact information in recent newsletters, yes, and at our website. So please reach out with any comments or questions as you review those submission requirements. The posters will be on display for a large portion of our conference, so people can have the opportunity to walk by and browse your work. But when you get the convention schedule, you will see that there is a particular portion of the convention set aside for our posters. And during that session, poster presenters will stand by their poster display and interact with other attendees of the conference and talk a little bit about their research and answer questions. So this is a marvelous professional development opportunity, not only to prepare the poster to share research completed or in progress, but also to get some opportunity to respond to feedback and to network and interact with people of like interests. As mentioned earlier, it is open to undergraduate, graduate, and alum members of our organization. And we would be delighted to see anyone on the call submit a poster submission by our October 15th deadline. Thank you.
All right. I think our next presenter is Professor Knox.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about the leadership program that we have coming up at the convention. The leadership program, this is actually going to be our third, I guess, edition, if you will. We had a leadership program in Kansas City that focused on the Truman Library and their decision-making simulation, which was super neat. And then our last one was virtual, and it focused on the Marine Corps Museum in Quantico, Virginia. This year's is going to focus on a couple of different aspects of leadership. Of course, we can't talk all about everything that's ever been published about leadership. So this program will just be really a snapshot of what's in the academic literature, particularly in the social science academic literature. We will talk a little bit about leading from the bottom up. We will talk about nonprofit organization leadership, and we'll talk a little bit about leading during crises. This program consists of workshops, lectures, and self-assessments. You know, what do you think of yourself as a leader? How do you think you might develop as a leader? We will also talk a little bit about some of the overall historical leaders in our country, since we will be in Philadelphia, and we will be going on a field trip to the Constitution Center. The program will be on Friday, November 1st and Sunday, November 3rd. Both days will be 12 to 5. That also includes the field trip component, if you will, and all of the workshops that will be involved. We do not have a virtual component. As much as we'd love to include one, we will not be offering that this time. The registration is $100. The grant application is now due by September 15th, and space is limited. So if you're interested, please be sure to register. Again, you can find all of the information on the convention website. And I've also listed the website in the chat section if you're interested. Thank you.
Suzanne, I think you're muted, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Social Justice Call to Action Project. We're doing something new this year. And so with all things new, it's a little bit experimental. It's a little bit, there are questions and I'm sure lessons that we'll learn from this. But we thought, what are we going to do as we begin our second centennial? What can we do to stand out? One of the things that's been happening on the board is that we've been having discussions about how social science has changed in the past 100 years. One of the things we noted is that what was a social science 100 years ago may not necessarily be what is a social science today. It's definitely evolved. Many of the social sciences have much more of an applied emphasis now. And so how do we address that in a way that's meaningful to our students? We also know that in academia, many of the social sciences are coming under threat. These departments are getting smaller. They are constantly under threat of being cut in some instances. And so to address that, we wanted to come up with a project that would really highlight the relevance of the social sciences in today's world. There's certainly many social issues that could be addressed. And we really think that our students need to see themselves as change agents, as the people who can make the difference moving forward. And so our idea is to launch this social justice or call to action project. This we envision as being something that is student-led. We will plant the seeds of this project at the convention, but we hope that it will extend well beyond the convention, and that we might be a place where students who are looking for an opportunity to not only do research, but to apply what they learn in real world ways can come to us as a place to get that done. So we will, at the convention, have some speakers come and talk to us to frame the role of social scientists as change agents. So they'll talk about the history of social science, how social science has been relevant in society. And from that group or that series of discussions, we will turn it over to the students and have them lead this project. We've been told from past conventions that students want to be they want to know how they can make a change in the world. And that is really central to what we believe in at Pi Gamma Mu. And so we're going to give them an opportunity to show us their stuff. So our goal is to extend this project well beyond the convention so that it will be an international effort to foster the next generation of social science leaders. So this is taking shape. It is intentionally left a little bit nebulous because it is going to be student driven. But as the details unfold, we will certainly share that with you, not only at the convention, but you can look for more news about that from our society in general. Next, I'm going to turn it back to Dr. Rupp to talk about student leadership.
Thanks, Dr. M. You were correct. I was muted earlier. Thank you for that. And thanks for that fantastic information on the Social Justice Project. Another fantastic opportunity for students is the 2 student representative positions we have on our International Board of Trustees. Before I get into the details, I'd just like to say that this is such a great opportunity for students. Serving on a national or international board of directors or trustees is an opportunity of a lifetime that can help build relationships with fantastic team of people. I can tell you that our board is great and full of incredible people, many of whom are here today. So the networking opportunities for students are incredible. The knowledge that a student can gain by participating in these meetings and committees with these leaders is amazing. The experience, recognition, participation, again, having a real role in decision making is a key part of being on our board. So to the details on our slide, so we do have 2 student representatives on our board. They must come from 2 different chapters as required by our bylaws, and they are elected during our convention, which will be held, of course, in November. The student representatives serve for 1 term, which lasts 3 years. So that is the next term will be from 2024 to 2027. And the student representatives do really play a key role in the decision making for the future of the society. They are voting board members. They are always asked for their opinions during our meetings, and they share some of the most important voices on our board. And I know our team of trustees really look at it that way. So in order to nominate or self-nominate a student to run, that can be done either at the convention, and there will be an information session during the convention to learn about how to do that, or that can be done in advance, and there will be an information available on our convention website, or you can contact me by sending an email. My email, an easy way to remember, is executivedirector@pigammamu.org, or that's all on our website as well. The 2 new student representatives will take office immediately upon election at the final day of our convention, and they will be sworn in with the other new trustees at the convention. So it's a really fun time. So that concludes that segment of our presentation. And at this point, I would like to open it up for questions and answers. And Let's see if I had, let's bear with
Suzanne,
me. Yes,
this is
Jean
Jean.
Carlin. Hi, Jean. Do you have a question? Dr.
No,
Jean
I was
Carlin.
just going to say that when it came to the chapter showcase posters, I'm really encouraging people to do that because it's pretty easy to get a group of students together and to talk about what are we known for and put together a set of pictures. And so you can share that with the other chapters who might be there. And so it's not Jen who's the one to whom you send your basically summary, but you send it to me and I'm on the website as well under chapter posters. So I really want people to do that. It's great fun. And it's a way that you might get to find some funding from your chapter or from the college you attend because you're on a program. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carlin. Dr. Carlin's a past president of our Board of Trustees, a past convention committee chair, a current and past poster chairperson. So thank you, Dr. Carlin, for all of your volunteerism and for that information. Do we have any other questions? Sonia, let me see if I can help you unmute. Oops.
Yes, I just wanted to say it's very amazing to see the whole headquarters virtually. I can see what you all look like. I'm very excited to meet everybody in person and present at the convention. This will be an awesome experience. I just started my first day back to school for my senior year at McKendree University.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. We can't wait to meet you in person, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you. I got inducted into Pi Gamma Mu at McKendree University Academic Excellence Celebration last April.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
A recent member from a few months ago.
Great. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
Yes, Charles, I was going to ask you, Charles, you shared shared something in the chat. And also you might have another a comment, Dr. Hartwig.
Yes, I was going to, since not everybody looks at the chats, for the student representatives, this is a 3-year term. The board meets every year. The student representatives will get a paid trip. That's flight and meals to this. So it's more than just an honor. It's really good deal. So I encourage all you students out there thinking about this. It's election. It's often very competitive. In fact, several years ago we had a tie vote, but it's worth it. So I encourage students to think about this and plan your campaigns.
Gordon here.
Great point.
Gordon Mercer here. Just one update that I wanted to pass on, and that's related to the LBJ Foundation and their acceptance of the Distinguished LBJ Award. We did hear back, and Mark Lawrence, their head librarian, is leaving. So they're in the process, it appears they'll probably get their LBJ CEO Foundation director to accept the award, but they're currently working on that. But I wanted to mention that one shift. One question I had in general, as Kathy mentioned, certain social science majors seem to be in decline, and that has been a problem for us. But on the other hand, some department heads, even in traditional areas, have been able to keep their majors high. And it's always appeared to me that the department heads do play an important role. And I've wondered a little bit if we could, through our newsletter or whatever, that some department heads that are enhancing their majors in the social sciences, if we could hear about things they're doing. I know there are many things like keeping up with your alumni is important. Certainly keeping up with job prospects, and even added where your social science majors can be more applied. But I'm wondering if in some way it doesn't necessarily have to be at the convention, that it could be covered at the convention, but one of the things we're finding is vast variations, and often what happens in a department in the final analysis depends on the leadership of a particular department head. So I wonder if there's any way, whether our newsletter or some way, we can hear more from department heads that are doing extremely well and what their approaches are.
What a fantastic idea, Dr. Mercer. I think some of our Pi Gamma Mu chapter sponsors are excellent examples of those professors who are really making the social sciences shine, stick around, adapt, and evolve into the future. I would love to see some of that highlighted in our newsletter. If anyone would like to share any success stories, please send them my way.
That should really help. Thanks, Suzanne.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Are there any other questions? Trying to see any raised hands or anything.
I wondered a
Mm-hmm.
question with Jen here. One of the things people have really enjoyed at conventions, not only the papers that are presented and the various ways that is done. One of the things that a lot of conventions people have really been interested in is where universities make presentations about their chapter, their university and their chapter and things they're doing. Is that possible under our current guidelines for them to do that if they want to have a poster that is about their Pi Gamma Mu chapter and some of their activities and things they're going? Because I've noticed at various conventions that students really come in for that. They really get excited about going around and listening to that. Jen, I don't know if you have any comment on that.
I think we might ask Jean about that. I am working on the research complete and in progress posters, but Jean might have some insight.
Yes, as I said before, we do have the chapter poster sessions available. And so Gordon is talking, Dr. Mercer is talking about those opportunities for conversations. And I just thought of something. Was this Sonia, if you're around, did you say McKendra was celebrated its 100th year anniversary? Is that what you said?
Sorry, the anniversary for McKentry?
Yeah.
No, we're going to 200 years, I think, in 2028.
Oh, okay. All right. I know you're one of the older Pi Gamma Mu chapters, having been involved with the history book. And so I think it could be fun to go back a little bit and just pull up what you can and complete a poster for it for the convention. That would be, it's not as much work as you'd think. You have some old papers around.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. So we hope to see more posters coming in for the chapters.
Is it possible if I can do like a poster, like get one ready and then like also still do my paper presentation I got accepted for?
Yes, that's possible. The poster sessions will not be held during the paper presentation times.
Okay, good to know. I don't know if anybody else from McKendree University is going to the convention, so I'll definitely talk to my advisor and work with him on learning more about the history of our chapter. That way I can make a poster about it.
Sounds good.
Oh, some other question was that, like for the student representatives, is it like an application process like ahead of time or just kind of like a statement like, well, the convention? I'm a bit confused about that.
Right, you will provide sort of a personal statement, a campaign speech, if you will, about why you'd like to be a member of the Board of Trustees. Yeah, it's nothing, super formal, not real long or anything like that, but yes. And then
so now
at
like
the
a form from ahead of
convention,
time.
yes, you could work on that ahead of time.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And while at the convention, each chapter gets one vote. So a chapter, for example, if they have, say, 5 students attending, they would select who will be their delegate and cast their vote. And we do that to keep it fair so that smaller chapters who may have 1 student attend um, have an equal chance compared to chapters who might have 10 students there. So that's how the voting works, and that happens in person at the convention, obviously after the campaign presentations.
Okay, that makes more sense. So that's not like a form to fill out before or like an interview. Basically, you have to prepare like a statement to like read at the convention in front of people. Then like voting happens from that then.
Right. That's
Okay.
basically
There
it.
is a form. There is a form to fill out at convention. We can probably post it on the website.
Okay. And then like how long do I have like to give a speech like once I'm at the convention like for my statement?
They're usually just a couple of minutes long. Does that sound right, Jean? Jean's always been one of our gurus with student elections.
I think most candidates we had were 6. And so we had to cut that down to 3 minutes, and otherwise they get 5 at the most, but that's usually enough for the student to talk to the delegates and tell them why they're interested.
Okay, so definitely no more than 5 minutes, but around 3 minutes preferably.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We'll get working on that.
Yeah, great.
As Dr. Rupp mentioned, there's no pre-application form until you get to the convention. So that's all. It takes place at the convention. But on the other hand, there's no reason why you can't do some, lobbying, if you will, on social media, perhaps the Hoover platform.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? I'm looking to see any hands up. Let's see.
One overall observation here, if I might just observe something from the past. One of the things that we traditionally have done that really helps convention attendance is that within the region, in this case, it would be the Northeast, we make sure all the advisors in that region have a role to play at the convention. Now, often that role can be welcoming. That it is their obligation, so to speak, to be there and to help welcome as people come in the convention. But you can also figure out other roles of things they can do. But I don't know. We may be thinking about that, but I would just observe that coming out of some of our most well-attended convention, when you give the chapters and the advisors a role to play, something that is a little bit concrete. It's not just, hey, come. Would you come and do some of the following, that they not only get enthused about attending themselves, whether it's we need you to welcome or we need you to help with some of the displays or things like that, but just an observation of something we've done in the past that really enhances attendance. But you can't exactly tell advisors in the Northeast that it's mandatory that they attend, obviously, but on the other hand, getting them enthused by giving them a role has certainly enhanced attendance at past convention. Just an observation here.
It's a great point, Dr. Mercer. And given our location of the convention in Philadelphia, we do actually have a lot of chapters close by. So hopefully we'll get some volunteers. And if anyone is on the call today or sees this video later and wishes to volunteer as a chapter to help us with the convention, we will gladly accept that help. We'll find something for you to do.
One thing would be possibly a timekeeper of these presentations.
Absolutely.
Right. I know we will be seeking a couple of tech savvy students to help us with technology as well. So we'll be sending out some messages like that in the coming weeks, seeking volunteers. Well, thank you, everyone. I think we will wrap things up, and I would like to thank our speakers today, President Dr. Kathy M., and our regional chancellors, Dr. Charles Hartwig, Dr. Jen McNabb, and Professor Allison Knox, and all of our attendees today. We do hope to see you from November 1st through 3rd in Philadelphia at the DoubleTree Hotel, Philadelphia, Center City. Again, all of our members, alumni, and faculty are welcome to attend the convention, and we certainly hope that you do. Please check our website to register and contact us if you have any questions about the convention or any other matter. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.